Well. Hello, conversations with influencers and Facebook community. Alejandro Tornato here, coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia. It's a beautiful day, and it is a beautiful day not just because the sun is shining outside, but is because this is a brand new episode of Conversations with Influencers. And guess what? I already did two posts because I wanted to excite people to come and join us live. And because I have a guest, I know this man for quite some time. And since the very first time, I resonated with him, with his message, and with the things that he does, because he's truly an influencer. And I don't want to keep him waiting too long in the green room because I know him, and he's just like me. He's comfortable wherever he is, but he's even more comfortable under the spotlight, just like me. And so I'm going to bring him Vincent Ivan Phipps. And where is he? Here, there, that's it. I mean, you see, you have to know which button to press, But how are you doing today?
You always press the right buttons, Alejandro. You always press the right buttons, brother.
So how are you doing? Vincent is coming directly from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Woo-hoo! Choo-choo, baby. Home of the world's largest aquarium.
That's right. And it's definitely a pleasure, to have you. I am so thankful that you decided, to be part of a new conversation with influencer. And when I thought, well, who am I going to bring that I know is truly a game changer in his field and in what he does? And not only he does it with passion, but he's a master at what he does. And so I am so happy to introduce my friend Vincent, to our community. So as we start, and I know that we have been going through some choppy waters, rough times for several weeks now, due to this COVID-19. I know that you're healthy. I hope that the rest of your family is well and healthy.
Yes,
but how have you been navigating these kind of a difficult times for you?
Well, foremost, Alejandro, thank you for allowing me on the show. I am excited to be here and looking forward to providing value to all of your listeners. There are two things that I've been able to ascertain based on the pandemic that we've all been experiencing. The first is to acknowledge what you can control. That's tough because Alejandro, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, we have to have our hands in everything: scheduling, updates, social media posts, articles, scheduling, travel, clients, follow-ups. And there's a lot to it that is on our shoulders. Yeah. When the pandemic hit, all of a sudden, we weren't in control of our schedules. We weren't in control of running to the store. We weren't in control of scheduling a meeting. A lot of things changed that were taken from us that robbed us of our internal thought of how much we could control. So as a self-proclaimed perfectionist and as a self-proclaimed person who has to be accountable at all times, it was tough to be a control freak and to realize there's a lot of this is going on that we can't control. So that was one element of acknowledging you don't have control over all this. Yeah. The second thing is we had to boost our creativity about just how we can provide continual value. Being professional speakers, Alejandro, we make our living on stages. We make our living in coaching and in training and in doing workshops. And once that was taken from us, now we got to figure out, okay, if you are a singer and you get laryngitis, you got to figure out, can you play an instrument? Now, if you are a runner and you break your ankle, okay, can I start doing push-ups? So you got to figure, okay, the only tool I had is now taken from me. So now, like a lot of people, we're looking at doing articles. We're looking at writing journals. We're looking at doing videos. We're looking at doing webinars. We're looking at trying to be creative and still provide value. So looking at what you can control and being okay with that, and finding ways to be creative and still provide value. Those are the two elements that I've been using to incorporate to not only thrive through this pandemic, but to also continue to be successful.
That's, I mean, that's excellent, because, you know, sometimes when we are doing something, we not only have to be thinking of plan A, and I heard so many people that says, okay, plan A most of the time it doesn't work. So you
need a plan L and M and N.
That's exactly right.
Plan A, man, that's just the first mistake.
That's exactly right. I think that what we need to do is we need to have already a plan A to Z and then go through it, because one of those might just work, but then we have to just keep. So definitely this has been a little bit of an uncertain, I mean, especially for speakers and so forth. So, but there's one thing that you mentioned that I think that is crucial and is very important, and is something that we need to be, and I'm going to say something that I hope that people are not going to misunderstand. I think that there's one thing that we need to be thankful to this COVID-19, and is the fact that as a result of this, then that has prompted a lot of people to begin using their creativity much more than they had in the past. And I think that that is a good thing. I mean, what do you think about that, Vincent?
I think that if you are optimistic enough, you can find the bright side of COVID. We definitely have to acknowledge that people are sick. We have to acknowledge that it is impacting, according to a lot of our local reports, it's impacting up to 80% of small businesses. We have to acknowledge that people have lost their lives. During all of that chaos, we can still look for, we have more time with our families. A lot of people have gotten to stay home, which means there are fewer accidents on the streets. We also know that certain people have gotten to work from home and their income is still maintained. People are able to work on their homes. They're able to work on projects that they wouldn't be able to do outside of COVID. So there's a lot of positivity. At this point, I'm thinking that people are in one or two categories. About 6 months to 8 months to a year from now, Alejandro, people are going to have to ask themselves, which category were you in? You're either going to say, COVID set me back, and you will complain about everything that was taken from you, or you'll be in the other category and you'll say, COVID set me up. And then I now have learned new programs, new skills. I'm now a master at Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts or Zoom or the one that you're using here. What's it called? The
StreamYard.
COVID, think about this, Alejandro. Imagine 6 months in the past. If someone were to say, dear world, for about 10 weeks, you can sleep as late as you want to. For about 10 weeks, you can work on every home project you haven't had a chance to. Anybody in your family, your mother, your daughter, your wife, your son, if you haven't had enough time with them, I'm going to give you about 2.5 to 3 months of 24/7 access to them. If you want to learn a language or learn a new skill or learn how to play an instrument, I will give you 3 months to practice. Imagine if that was told to us. We think, oh man, this is great, this is wonderful. Well, it's wrapped inside of COVID.
Yeah.
So if you can capitalize on the time that we have or have had, you have to ask yourself, is COVID going to set you back or is it going to set you up? Everybody went through COVID, but everybody won't come out of COVID the same.
That's true. That's exactly true. And I think that that is very important. I mean, how, you know, I heard it so many times. Are we when are we going back to normal? And
Normal's over. Normal's over.
And you know, I said to a lot of people in conversations, I said, you know, I think that the new editions of the dictionary, they are going to be printing without excluding one word, because that word would not have any meaning whatsoever, and that's the word normal. I mean, normal, forget about normal. And you know what, Vincent? I even heard someone saying, well, you know, everybody wants to go back to normal, but why would you want to go back to normal?
Exactly.
Why?
You know what? You remember Walkmans? You remember the Walkmans? Now,
Yeah.
somebody, whoever invented the Walkman, I'm sure he's thinking all this MP4 stuff, MP3, he's thinking, why don't we just go back to have the cassette tape where you flip it front and back? He said, oh, I just want to get back to normal. Well, normal's over. Nobody wants a Walkman anymore. Nobody wants, hey, now you have phones that can hold 100 songs, and now who wants a cassette tape with 8 songs on it? So now the question is not when will we get back to normal? The question is, how soon can you adapt to the current changes? That's the question.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But hey, for those who are watching or the ones who will get the replay, let me just go back a little bit, because I want people, I mean, to get to know Vincent. And if you're seeing him, behind him, there is a visual. It says Communication VIP. Well, Vincent is the owner of Communication VIP Training and Coaching, and is his company. And he's very successul at he's a speaker. I mean, he's gotten the highest denomination in public speaking, which is he's a CSP. And for those of you who want to know what on earth is CSP, well, let me just give you a little bit of a secret.
Oh, educate him, Alejandro. Educate him, brother.
That's right. It's a certified speaking professional. A certified speaker professional. And you know, so when you master your craft, as a book, Malcolm Gladwell would say, when you acquire the famous 10,000 hours of practice, of purposeful practice, and you get to the top of your game, then in the speaking world, then you get the certification of certified speaking professional. And that's what Vincent has obtained. And very well deserved. And
Thank you.
I remember when I first met this man was a few years ago, when I joined and I made my way to a beautiful, quaint little town of Gatlinburg. If you've never been to Gatlinburg, I encourage you to go, because it's a beautiful place surrounded with mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And pancakes.
That's right. But at that time, what made it even more wonderful, than the experience was a great one, is when I attended one of Vincent's workshops, and that was the Pro Speakers Kit workshop. And I could see for the very first time why is that people refer to Vincent as the attitude amplifier. That's why it was the very first time that I was confronted with someone, you know. Up until that moment, I thought that I had vitality and energy when I was presenting and when I was speaking. But when I met you, my man, you really, I mean, I am basically nobody.
I would say that, brother. You were fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
But and so I went through the pro speakers kit workshop, and a tremendous program. I learned lots. I learned tons of information that served me very well afterwards. But that's what Vincent does. And look at something very nice there, where it says communication VIP. That is not very important people, my friends. I mean, that's not what VIP in this contest really means. I know that you said, "Hey, I am a VIP. Hey, I want a limousine because I am a VIP." Well, that's not what this VIP means. What this is two things. First of all, if you look at the initials of Vincent's first, middle, and last name, that's Vincent Ivan Phipps. That's VIP. So that's one criteria. The second criteria is that what he does is very impactful presentations.
Yes, sir.
And that's VIP. That's the second criteria. Nothing to do with very important people, even though he is very important, but that's not what that VIP is. Now, let me ask you one thing, because
yes, sir.
Your journey, your life journey, has not always been peachy and rosy. Okay.
No.
I want you to expand on this. And when that happened, Vincent went through a very difficult time years ago, when he went through an almost fatal car accident. That actually, as a result of that, I mean, his neck broke in two places. And of course, I mean, he fully recovered because he's with me today. So he is recovered and back to 150% energy. But that road to recovery was not an easy one. So what were some of the lessons that you learned through that recovery? And then if you can talk the passion that you have for speaking and for sharing your message and for amplifying the lives of other people, did that happen prior to the accident? Or was that a result of the accident and you thinking about things and what you wanted to do, and then you started your journey afterwards?
It was 2007, September 11th, and I was going to perform in Atlanta, and I ended up catching a sneezing fit, Alejandro, and I lost control of my vehicle. And I went over off the side of a mountain, and my skull was split open. Let me see if we can turn this down a little. My skull was split open, and I ended up breaking my neck in two places, and I had other broken bones. I don't really remember a lot of what happened because I was unconscious for a while, and I had to have emergency surgery, which resulted in them taking bone from my hip to rebuild the bones broken in my neck. And then my spine was fused with two screws that are made of titanium that are in my neck right now. I love going through airports, and they do the whole wand, and they always say, "Sir, take off your necklace." I'm not wearing a necklace. So it was about a year of rehab, and it was a lot of pain. And what ended up happening, I always had a passion for speaking and training, Alejandro. And I was with the company for 13 years. I wanted to expand within that company, but the growth process was not within alignment with what I wanted to do in terms of impacting more people. So my only option was to start my own company. I was terrified, and I never wanted to start my own company because I was surrounded by business owners and I saw how hard they worked, and that's not what I wanted. My living room wall was covered with letters and cards of people who I knew, some who I didn't know, and they would say things like, "You probably don't remember me, but you helped me get that job interview because you helped me avoid saying." I get another card that would say, "My name is Bob. I'm now the regional director for Regions Bank. You taught me how to give a speech without sounding terrified. I want you to know that when you recover, please contact me. We'd love to have you come and speak." And I just had my whole wall covered with these things. And my wife said, "You ought to keep these." She was my girlfriend back then, my wife now. And it was at that point, Alejandro, while I was laying there in a hospital bed with my neck brace, my head was swollen, and I realized that even in this near fatal condition, I couldn't move very well. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't get up on my own. A lot of things I couldn't do on my own, but then I needed a lot of help. But even in that condition, the way you live your life, the way that you treated people in the past, that still was able to resonate with people. And I realized that my fears need to be set aside if I have the opportunity to help more people, if I proceed and I take my business to another level. I was terrified, but I was inspired by how many people I already positively impacted. If I can come up with even more strategies, more approaches, more books, more videos to help people, imagine what could happen if everybody had somebody who inspired them to go on to another level of greatness. You may not be able to change the world, but you change the world for one person, which could ultimately impact changing the world. So even though the accident was painful and my back and neck still hurts, and when it gets cold, I still know it. I'm a walking weatherman. I can tell you when it's going to rain because my neck starts hurting. My grandfather was right. I understand now. The point is that when you are able to have a positive impact on others, sometimes your pain can be a promise. That promise can be, I promise to make sure that other people don't feel this level of pain. I promise that if someone does go through something, here's a tool or a technique they can use to persevere through that pain. So I look back on that accident where I started sneezing, lost control, and almost died. Now I have smart people like you, Alejandro, that took Pro Speakers Kit. We graduated 38 people of Pro Speakers Kit. I've been able to write 6 books. I've been able to travel the world. I speak about 50 or 60 times a year in about 300 American cities. So if none of those things happen, look at all the lives I would not have had the honor to meet, including yours. So that pain was now more of a promise. And that promise is keep trying to do good by others and do as much as you can, have a positive impact. And that's what I'm trying to do now.
I'm listening to you, and at the same time, because some of the things that you said are so relevant. I mean, and so many conversations with people come to mind. And because you talk to lots and lots and lots of people, and I would say not all people, but some of them, perhaps even most of them, they are so afraid of failure. They're so afraid of making mistakes. They're so afraid of even a change in their life, transformation in their lives. Because, of course, when you talk about change, you talk about the unknown. I mean, what if? And what if it doesn't work? And you mentioned something that I think that is very critical. I mean, for entrepreneurs or for almost anybody, it doesn't matter what they do, what we do. And it's the fact that you said pain can be the vehicle to great impact and success in life.
Absolutely.
And some people, they look at pain as a very negative, as something that I don't want pain in my life. I mean, why would I want pain? Of course, nobody wants pain. But remember that when pain comes to you, and we are living a life that nobody is exempt of pain, but when pain comes, some people, they don't make the most of their pain to get over and to keep going even faster and higher than before. But some other people like you, they look back to their pain and they said, I know, I mean, yes, I suffer pain, but now it's time to change your thinking paradigm and said, okay, I'm going to use that pain to do good to many, many, many other people. And I think that that's a very positive outlook of what pain can do in the life of an individual. Is that right?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Alejandro, everybody wants to eat apple pie, but nobody wants to plant apple seeds. There's you can't get in shape without going through some pain. You can't eat better until you stop eating crap. You can't find that perfect person till you dated a couple of knuckleheads. I mean, it's part of it. You're not going to get it right the first or second time. You may not get it right the second or third time or fifth time.
Right.
What people need to be okay with is to appreciate the journey of failure. And when you have success quickly, it doesn't last because you've yet to understand what it takes to maintain that level of discipline and success. You look at anybody that maybe won the lottery, they're broke the next year. You look at anyone that was given a free car, they wreck it within the first couple of drives. You look at anyone that goes and has surgery and they suck all the fat out of the body, they get skinny all of a sudden. In the next year, they're back to their regular weight because they don't have a process or a system or a discipline that maintains success. And people need to be okay with messing up. With this social media ideology and so many people starting businesses and everybody and their grandmother telling them that they're millionaires, we've got to look at it's okay to not be okay.
That's right.
It's okay because what are you trying to do to get better? And when you're able to have some pain, have some mistakes, have some lessons learned, how are you going to have a backup plan without a primary plan? It's okay to mess up. But what people need to learn is how do you recover from failure? How do you recuperate from mistakes? Okay, you failed. You messed up. Try it this way. Okay, that didn't work. Try it that way. You now know 2 ways that it won't work. Don't do those ever again. And you got to keep on striving in a way that you continue getting better. Don't look at your failures. Look at the lessons learned and get smarter. Try it again.
That's exactly right.
Denzel Washington told us if you fall down 7 times, get up 8.
That's exactly right.
You'll get it.
That's exactly right. I heard it many times. It says, and I mean, when I give a presentation, I ask the audience this question because not everybody knows. And it says, everybody has goals in their lives. At least everybody has one goal in their life that they want to achieve. Now, what is the purpose of having a goal or having goals? And everybody raised their hands and says, well, the purpose of having a goal is to achieve the goal and to really manifest the goal. And I said, well, that is partly right, but it's not completely right. And they said, well, what else could it be? I mean, why would you want to have a goal in your life?
Right.
And I said, the most important thing of having a goal is not to achieve the goal, but is the person that you are becoming in the journey to reach the goal.
Tell them, Alejandro,
because that's right. In order to get the goal, you cannot be the same person that you are right now. You have to
Absolutely.
become a different person if you want to achieve it. And
Absolutely.
that's the primary purpose of the goal, is to better yourself, is to
Mhm.
to stretch yourself, to get yourself to a different level.
Yes,
And then
sir.
eventually you will reach the goal, but then you look behind you and you are a totally different person,
Can I
so
share
much
something
better.
about goals with you, Alejandro?
Sure.
You may not remember this, but this was when I realized that you were something special, Alejandro. This is when I realized I have a person that is going to be successful. When we did Pro Speakers Kit in Gatlinburg, I hope you remember this. Please tell me you do. One of the first things we did was, I think we had like 12 people there or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Let me tell it. The for the Pro Speakers Kit, it was when you did, it was a 1 day class. Now it's a 3 day workshop. Now it's a 3 day workshop on how to amplify your career if you want to be
Okay.
a professional speaker. And one of the first activities we did, I didn't know you, I didn't know like half the people who were there, but we had that huge, remember, we had the whole floor, we had that huge conference room. And one of the first, I put you guys in front of a video camera, right? Right? And I had you say who you were and why people should book you as a speaker. Now, do you remember kind of the gist of what we're doing, Alejandro?
Yes, I mean you set up the camera
Right?
in front of the in front of the room, and
Right?
then you I mean you invited, I mean, whoever was ready. I mean,
Right?
you want, and everything. It wasn't planned. I mean, we didn't know, so we didn't have any
Right?
time to prepare. It was
Right?
just very spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember, I mean, what I said,
I remember what you said.
but I definitely had a passion doing it. And of course, then afterwards, when you went during the workshop or whatever, I mean, and you presented each of the videos,
Yes, sir.
and then you gave us feedback into that. But
Yes, sir.
it was
Yes,
a
sir.
great exercise.
Thank you, sir. When you had finished your presentation, you were the only one in that entire class, Alejandro, that asked to do it again. When you said, you did it, and there were a couple of us behind, they were, oh, that was good. And you said, and you said, Vincent, can I do it again? Can I do it again? And I said, sure, you do it again. And the second time was even better than the first time. So when I showed that in class, they never knew you did it a second time. And they loved how you did it. And they said, oh, that was great. That was perfect. But see, they thought that was your first time. And that is an example of how when we do something, even though you may have been okay with it, you were comfortable saying, Vincent, I didn't like that first one. Let me do this again. And they only saw the second one, which was great. I thought the first one was good, but the second one was great. And what you did, Alejandro, is a microcosm of what all people need to do is be okay with where you are,
That's right.
but want to get better by going to the next step to go even further. And that's one of the things that you did. And that's what all people need to do, whether it's COVID, whether it's recovering our economy, being a parent, being a business owner. Know where you are, but then have the guts, have the courage to say, I can be better. I can do this again and keep going. You did that, and I've been impressed with you ever since, brother.
Thank you so very much, Vincent. But I think it is my personal belief that um, we are as human beings, as spiritual beings that we are, um, we should be content with what we have. However, we should be unsatisfied. And I want to put that so people don't misunderstand me. So it's not that you have to be unsatisfied. I mean, I want more. No. You have to be content with what you have. But as a spiritual being, we are always striving to be better, to do more, and to have more. And it's that spirit of expansivity, of expansion, and is the fact that, yes, um, uh, I was uh, I was okay with that first video taking, and that was good. But I thought to myself, hey, you know, I think that I can do better. And
And you
and and,
did.
and that's
You
and
did.
that's and I think that that's the attitude that we need to have
Mhm.
all the time. Is not is thinking that we are okay, but there's always, you know, I'm sure that you heard it many times. The biggest room in your house is the room for improvement.
That's
and
it.
and I think that we need to have that, because we need to keep improving. It's okay, you know, if we are going to climb Mount Everest, and we said, okay, well, let me just go, and you start the climb, and you get halfway through Mount Everest, and you see the peak up there, but you said, oh no, I think it's going to be too difficult. I mean, I just went halfway. It's enough for me.
Right.
Okay, that's the sign of mediocrity. I
Nobody
mean,
brags about climbing halfway to Mount Everest.
that's exactly
Which
right.
I think is still impressive. That's still impressive. I think so, but nobody brags about I climbed halfway. Nobody says that. I think that's impressive.
That's exactly right. So, but listen, as part of your teaching and the programs that you conduct, let me share to the audience that you focused, I mean, on four, what you called the four dynamics of professional development.
Yes, sir.
And what are those four dynamics? Well, the first one is communication. Of course, I mean, you are a master at communicating. Then the second one is leadership. And I think that communication and leadership come hand in hand, because you cannot have a great leader that is a pathetic communicator. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. Okay. Then the third pillar, or the third dynamic, is presentation skills. And the fourth is conflict resolution.
Yes, sir.
Now, I have a question.
That's good, bro. That's good.
So I have a
You
question.
done your research.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and listen, I do my homework.
You have. Yeah, well done, sir. Well done. Hey, no halfway Mount Everest for you.
No, that's right. So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
And you know, I mean, there are no silly questions. But when you said that one of the dynamics is communication, and another of the dynamics is presentation skills.
Yes, sir.
Now, I know the answer to that, but I want you to expand on that, because some people, they may see that and they may say, hey, but communication is presentation skills. I mean, if you're presenting, I mean, you're communicating. Now, what are the basic differences between communicating and presenting? I mean, presentation skills.
When you talk about communication, you're looking at an interpersonal exchange. The element that people miss in communication has nothing to do with presenting. When you present, you are sharing information. When you present, you are giving content. When you are presenting, you're trying to take your energy and have an impact on others, whether it's a telephone call or a voicemail or a negotiation or an interview or a sales pitch or a keynote, even a webinar. When you're presenting, it is a one-dimensional entity where you're giving and the other person, you hope, is taking or receiving. What makes communication different than presenting is that when you're communicating, Alejandro, it goes from one dimension to two. With communication, you need to be the listener. You need to be the receiver. When you're communicating, it's not about what you share. It's about making sure that what you are receiving is understandable, making sure that your viewpoints are understood, making sure that instead of trying to negotiate or to debate with somebody about their views or their ideologies, do you have the interpersonal and empathetic skills to be a listener, to see their point of view? So when you're on stage and presenting, you don't care what they think. You're the presenter. But when you're communicating, you need to be receptive of the other person's point of view and to talk less, but listen more. That's communication.
Okay, I see. Okay. And of course, I mean, leadership, I mean, when you are on stage, I mean, presenting, communicating, then you are being a leader because,
Right.
of
When you're
course,
on
I mean,
stage, nobody's going to interrupt you. When you're in a conference room, now you got to listen.
that's exactly right. And then definitely, I mean, those are extremely important parts of leadership, of being a leader. And of course, I mean, a leader has to have the ability, I mean, to resolve conflict. I mean, you cannot escalate conflict. You have to be able, I mean, to to resolve it in some way. So
You showed me the person who is a good listener and has good relationships. They're probably good at a lot of stuff. Show me the person who is a lousy listener with lousy relationships. You probably suck at a lot of stuff, right? You're a good leader. You're going to be a good dad, a good business. If you're a bad listener, you've been divorced a few times. You may have a criminal record. It's a pattern, man. It ain't complicated. Can you listen and can you get along?
you know, leadership leaves footprints on the sand, isn't it? I mean, you just have to look at the footprints and see.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and bad leaders leave footprints on people's necks. So because they're stepping on them because they don't listen.
Now, let me ask you, what brings you more satisfaction as a speaker, being in front of an audience? I mean, what is it that you thrive on doing? I mean, when you are on stage, I mean, in front of a group of people, sharing information, what do you gain in terms of fulfillment and satisfaction?
When someone is able to transfer the information and to implement it to make their life better, that's the aha for me. I don't care if it's 1,000 people, Alejandro, or if it's 10. When someone goes, oh, so if I want someone to talk to me, I got to ask them, what do you enjoy doing? Not, do you like golf? Exactly. When someone says, oh, so if I want to sound more confident, I have to lift up my head, not say and to speak authentically instead of mumbling with my head down. I got it. It's those nuggets. It's those little jewels. It's those, what I call those attitude amplifications, Alejandro.
That's right.
And when someone is able to take what has been shared and then they are able to apply it, then they see the value. They get those aha moments. I get those letters saying, my wife listens to me now. I get those emails saying, hey, I got the promotion. I get those nice messages from people like you, Alejandro, saying, I got another speaking engagement. These are the things that just bring me joy. It's not about awards or degrees or accolades. It's about, is what you're doing, is what you're sharing, making other people's lives better. That's why I do it. That's the biggest high for me.
That's right. And it's in a sense, you can go, you can read all the books that you want to read. You can go and attend all the seminars and workshops that are out there.
Right.
And that is good, but it's not as good, and is not going to produce any benefits in your life personally if you just go, listen, and do absolutely nothing.
You got it. Nobody ever learned how to swim by sitting on the beach. You know, try it. Did this work? And when you're able to have someone to share information that makes your life better, that makes your life easier, that makes your life more fulfilling, that's
That's right.
the greatest reward I think anybody can have, is to know that they're providing value to others.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, just uh, one. I mean, one thing. You said that this has, in a sense, changed a little bit the direction of what you want to do. Perhaps, I mean, on a temporary basis until this is really behind us.
Mhm.
But what I mean, you're going to still go and do speaking and training and
Yes, sir.
on stage in a physical form as opposed to virtually, correct?
Yes, sir. The live, rest assured, the live presentations aren't going anywhere. People will still book speakers. They need Alejandros in their world. Hopefully, they need Vincents in their world. So those engaged aren't going anywhere, but they are going to transition. So one of the things that we've done is that we are offering a reduced rate for our online programs. We're doing more virtual coaching. My company right now is in the process of doing a webinar series that will be covered through the summer, through June, and through July. They can go to my website at vincentphipps.com for updates. When we're doing more videos, when people need more refreshers and insights, they need to make sure they subscribe to the influencers, conversations with influencers with Alejandro. These things are always going to be going on. What COVID has done is to show that there is an audience that finds value in things other than the traditional. So keep them. They know the Mercedes is great. There's also BMW. No, the chicken's great. There's also steak. So having these options gives people more avenues to expand their creativity. So the more we can find ways to utilize what's already there, you expand your diaspora of who you can impact. You just have to find ways to make sure it brings value.
Yeah. Um, I want to share with you, and I want to share with our viewers a quote that I read this morning, and
Mhm.
I thought that it would be great. I mean, to share it with you. It comes from none other than the great Socrates.
Mm.
Okay, so it has to be good. Okay.
The brother could write. Socrates could write.
and and it says this. It says the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on the fighting the old, but on building the new. So
Socrates.
the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old and the thing that is already past,
Mm.
but on building the new, on what's happening next.
Mm.
And I know that in Vincent's life, and I think that and I can say, I mean, for my life and for your life,
Yes, sir.
um, I can truly say honestly that it doesn't matter what happened in the past,
Mm-hmm.
but the best is yet to
To come.
come. The
Absolutely.
best is yet to come. And
Absolutely, sir.
just before we wrap this session up, and just I am so thrilled. I mean, that we had this
Oh,
opportunity,
an honor,
Vincent.
sir.
Truly, I would like to ask you two questions. I mean, to
Yes, sir.
just finalize this. And the first one is for you, for Vincent Phipps. Um, what is the meaning of success? What
Mm.
is success for you, Vincent?
You need to be able to answer yes to three questions. If you can answer yes to these three questions, whether you're a plumber or a homeless person or a mechanic, doesn't matter. If you can answer yes to these three questions, you're successful. First question is, Are you happy? Now, most people can't get that far, Alejandro. Most people aren't happy. If you're happy, it doesn't matter how much money you have, where you live. Are you happy? Do you like your life? Do you like waking up? Do you like where you are? That's number one. Number two, are you fulfilled? People don't leave jobs because they don't make enough money. People don't leave relationships because the person's unattractive. They're no longer fulfilled about that person. They're no longer fulfilled by that job, and they move on. So number one, are you happy? Number two, are you fulfilled? Then the third one, if you can answer yes to this one, you're successful. Does your life bring joy and fulfillment to other people?
Oh,
That's it.
wow. Listen, none other than
Yes, you're successful.
You see, now after we finish that, I have to just take note, of those, and then just put it on the bathroom mirror.
That's
So,
it.
the first time that I see in the morning are those three questions.
Yes, sir. And Alejandro, notice that those answers don't require how much money you have in the bank,
No?
how many cars you have, how many degrees. All that is superficial stuff. We got to get back to the basics of what makes us human in terms of how we impact others as society. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? And are you bringing joy and fulfillment to others? If you can do those three things, you're successful. And if somebody disagrees with you, they're wrong. It's your life. You define what success is to you.
That's exactly right. And just to give this like a golden ending.
Gotcha.
The second question that I would like you to answer is this: what does it mean for you to live a limitless life? A life without limitations and boundaries. What is it for you?
Well, first, limits can be good as long as we are stretching them. So a limitless life may think I can fly and not jump off a mountain. No. There's limits. So
Hey, listen. If you want to do that, then gravity is shouting at you, says,
No. Don't have a limitless life. You need to have you have a limitless bank account, but be no aware of your limits. What people need to have a life of fulfillment, whether it's limited or not, they need to have a balance, Alejandro, between go and no. Here's what I mean. You need to have freedom in your life. So if you want to travel, you want to spend time with somebody special, you want to do something for yourself, can you go? Can you just go and do it? The other is you need to have the freedom to tell people no. When you can't tell people no, when you can't tell your spouse no, you're going to have some stress. When you can't tell your kids no, you're going to have some stress. When you can't tell your job no, I'm not doing that, you're going to have some stress. So when you can plan your life and go where you want to go, but then tell other people, no, I'm not going to say that. That's not true. I'm not going to do that. That will be counterproductive to what I feel a man should do, or a black man should do, or that's degrading to women, or that's going to hurt kids. I'm not doing that. When you can have a balance between go, do what you want, and then no, stop the foolishness. We have that balance between go and no. Your life is limited, brother.
My goodness, yes,
life is unlimited.
I tell you. So really, Vincent, you cannot imagine. How grateful and thankful I am to have shared these moments with you, to really listen to one more time, to your story, to the passion that you bring to other speakers and coaches and trainers. You are definitely a true attitude amplifier. And there is a little book. I can't remember the author, but it says the titles. It says attitude is everything.
Mm,
Attitude is everything, and
mm,
you are definitely a symbol that signifies that a good attitude
mm-hmm.
goes for miles and miles and miles, and
Absolutely, sir.
it never disappoints. I mean, so for all of
Thank
you,
you.
I mean, who are listening, if you have a bad attitude towards life,
Mm.
come on, take
Oh,
a pill, chill out, and get better. I mean, change your attitude,
that's it.
because attitude will help you to keep navigating, to keep making progress in your life. It's all about having the right and a positive mental attitude.
You got it, Alejandro. Thanks for having me
And
again, sir. Thank you.
and what a great thing it was. So thank you so very much,
My
Vincent. I
pleasure,
really
sir. My
appreciate
pleasure.
it. And for all of you, I mean, you know that I don't finish any videos by reminding you to live every moment. Hey, live every moment, grab every moment and live it to the fullest. And also be kind, be passionate, be intentional, and be well. Thank you very much. Until we meet the next time in Conversations with Influencers, Alejandro Tornato signing off from Beaufort, Georgia. Thank you very much, Vincent. Take care,
Hasta
my man.
luego.
Bye-bye.